I turned around and said, okay. I looked forward to it. I found out it was Dan. He said, yes, you could do that. Oh, yes, third-party information. So I showed up at the police station the next day. I said, hi, my name is Charles LeBlanc. We know. I said, I want to show you something. Dan BCS boss, Puller Bichot, and the Speaker of the House, Dale Graham. I had a video and a picture of them jaywalking. I said, here. I expect you people to give them a ticket, like you did to me, the phone call and all that. So the next day I said, did you give them a ticket? It's on the chief desk. I said, oh, there's a double standard here. One for the filthy rich, one for the filthy poor. So, you know I haven't shut up since I've been here. Can you imagine me with a blowhorn? So, I showed up with a blowhorn. Have you seen the movie, The Ten Commandments? Yeah. 1956, Charles Heston. And then he shows up. I looked, I go down, with the blowhorn, fascism, blah, blah, blah. So next thing you know, they said, I said, would you, I walked inside, I said, would you please give them a ticket? The people in the area has had enough. You know, have mercy on the people, like not let my people go. I'm not Moses, I'm not saying that. But have some sympathy. It's on the chief desk. So I went on for about a month, the blowhorn, fascism, blah, blah, blah. So at the end, they arrest me. It was all set up. They grabbed me. There was about 15 cops lined up. And then they brought me in jail. And then they said, okay, I was there for 4 hours. This is the problem we're having here. Then they said, oh, do you have a lawyer? They had like River Rat, Sergeant Matt Myers. Go, you have a lawyer, buddy. No, I don't have a lawyer. I can't afford it. And suddenly they put you in a boot, make you feel important. You have a mental disorder, you're on social assistance, you got no money. Well, it could be any one of his. Make you feel important. Here's your lawyer. Next thing you know, lawyer, well, don't say anything. But I didn't do anything wrong. And, oh, don't tell him anything, don't say anything. So, did you talk to your lawyer? Yeah, I did. Okay, in the cell. He stayed there for 4 hours. So those cops, so-called cops, I keep that to myself. You might walk on my dog shut down, sorry. You look and say, look at his record. He has ADHD, or he's bipolar, or whatever. And look, he's a smoker. I quit 4 years ago. So he's a smoker, that's a plus. So they bring him out. Look, buddy, sign the bottom line. And you're out of here in 5 minutes, buddy. 5 minutes, just sign the bottom line. So you say, okay, but they read you the condition. Well, you don't give a damn. You'll sign anything just to get the hell out of that cell. And one of the conditions is you don't have the right to fart on King Street. I mean, I know I'm going a little bit sarcastic, but this condition you can't follow. They know it's impossible. It's to put you in the system. I'm getting wound up here. So next thing you know, so then we went on, and then I was arrested. I was 2 days in jail. And the judge said, Judge Julian Dixon, he goes, they wanted to say, okay, we want Mr. LeBlanc not to be in the block 300. I said, Your Honor, I don't know if you know what a blogger is, but I got a deal with City Hall. Right, Greg? Are you falling asleep? Okay. So anyway, I got a deal with City Hall. I mean, I don't know if you know what a blogger is. Let me explain to you what a blogger is. He even let me explain. He knew exactly who I was. So next thing you know, they said, we don't want you to be in the corner of Westmoreland and King. But it was scary. They grabbed me. The police wanted me to sign papers. I wouldn't sign. And then there was nobody. For once, I would have loved to see Don McPherson, the Irving reporter for the Fredericton paper. I would have loved. There was nobody there. There was prosecutors, one duty counsel. They didn't say much. And then I said, oh my God. So then I said, Your Honor, I can't sign the paper not to be in the corner of the Westmoreland and King. I have to go across the Westmoreland Bridge. That's the only way to get out of the city. You don't want to sign that? 2 days in jail. Because I could have been in a car, and they would have had my judge order me not to be allowed in the corner of Westmoreland and King. And it's foolish. They're the cops got too much time on their hand. This is not a city. This is a big town. And they're bored. And they won't go. That's sorry, in my opinion. So I turned around. I pleaded guilty January 6th. We showed up in court. January 16, 2012. I showed up in court, my supporters. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but There was cops all over the place. And then they were saying, hey, what are you guys going to do? Matt Myers was there. What are you guys going to do? What are you guys going to do? So my supporters were telling me, Charles, it's time to turn the page, move on, move on. We had a meeting, the prosecutor, plead guilty. You'll get a conditional discharge. Just plead guilty. Then my supporters and the cops, everything's going to be all right. Don't worry about it. Everything's going to be fine. There's something that wasn't right. I had no right to a lawyer. There was no lawyer. So this thing, I said, okay, can I leave with my head high? Yes, Charles, you can leave with your head high. How am I doing?
Good. 7 minutes.
Oh boy. So 7 minutes? So,
yes.
So anyway, so at the end, sorry. So at the end, what happened? I was in court. I said, we're plead guilty. The prosecutor said, okay, we're going to have a victim impact assessment. And as a victim impact assessment, that wasn't part of the deal. So next thing you know, they said that, I said, no. I said, victim impact assessment. You had people say, oh, I hear his voice in the blowhorn. I can't sleep at night. So then I said, no, that wasn't part of the deal. So then the judge said, we're going to have a recess. The recess lasted about 2 minutes. The cop, Bobby Simmons, said, no, Charles. Nobody's going to testify, Charles. Everything's going to be all right, Charles. So what the hell is the cop in the courtroom telling me everything's going to be all right? There's something that wasn't right. So at the end, we pleaded guilty. My supporters hugged me, turned the page, everything's fine. 3 days later, I was home, and I had this nice native, right, sitting down. Then I said, oops, it's hot in here. Let me open the window. I see 8, 10 cops showing up. And the woman that told me everything's going to be all right, she led the raid over my place. Good morning, Charles. You're under arrest. To let the cops do the dirty work in the courtroom shouldn't be allowed. I only got 5 minutes left. So the bottom line here is just, I was helped by 2-person supporters, Tom Mann, and then after that, Tom Mann, after a while, was appointed as deputy minister by the government. So he was gone. Then I had a lawyer, but he was busy. And then I was left, Terry Sagan on CBC, he pushed the issue, and then the CCLA arrived. Then next thing you know, they sent a letter of concern to Barry McKnight. Barry McKnight wrote an acknowledgement to CCLA. He said, oh yeah, okay, I'll have a review, but we'll do it in my terms. I'll choose the people that's going to be on that review. And they never had somebody, nobody in New Brunswick has seen somebody from outside saying, this is not right. This is not what you should do. So at the end, Barry McKnight refused to answer, and the CCLA push it, and then my charges, what's the other charge? Oh, the charges, when they raided my place, they said, okay, he lives alone. It was a libel charge, but we got, he lives, okay, that's later, 5 minutes, right? Mm-hmm. And then I was arrested when the charges were dropped, of libel dropped. I was arrested a week later at the legislature. So the police, and they assaulted me. And then once I showed up in court, and then I was in the hospital, that's another story. But then the RCMP took over the thing for my charge, that they said, they suggest that my charge should stay. Cops, investigating cops, I don't think so. And then suddenly they hired Bernard Richard to do a review. So I asked the city, that suddenly when they announced to do the review, Barry McKnight suddenly retires. He says it's just time to go. 49 years old, it's time to go. My God, I wish I could retire and use pension at 49. Not even a politician gets that. So everything was going. Then the city of Fredericton, I asked, will you pay my fee for a lawyer? I'm not educated enough to talk about my charter rights. The city said no. So my lawyer, with Tom Mann, said, you have a good review, we're not going to talk to you. So the two main characters, Wazzo and me, never talked to Bernard Richard. He was paid $40,000. And he come out with this review, which they had a huge news conference. And I told my lawyer, we were there, and I told my lawyer, I said, what do you think about the news conference? Like, the chief was there. We have to learn to deal with people that's emotionally disturbed. And then the lawyer says, besides labeling you as a nutcase, The child porn thing is very interesting. And this is, I'm going to end it right here. We asked, they said, okay, he lives alone, he takes pictures, he got no kids. He has to be the child porn. He has to be. So, what they did, we turned around, at the end I can't go much longer. Anyway, we asked, I decided to sue the city, just to see what would happen. Here's a man in a social system. Now, who's going to help me? Nobody. So, I turned around, I got these papers right here. N.M. Cooper, was it N.M. Cooper?
McInnes Cooper.
McInnes Cooper.
All these papers, bang. Now, I have ADHD. How am I going to read this? I mean, I never even read it. I had this for 5 months. But what's interesting is we got a paper, two different pieces. Right here. It's on my blog, if you check my new blog or whatever. And it's two from the Frenton Police Force to my internet provider. And it says, I, Detective Rob Costello, in accordance with my duties and authority as a peace officer, I am conducting a criminal investigation pertaining to a child sexual exploitation offense. I was exploiting children. They told that to my internet provider. I'm sorry, you're just something about child porn that pisses a person off. So I always said you had people condemning the gays are evil of society. At the end, these people end up being gay themselves. So whoever refused me to be into child porn, they gotta be a pedophile themselves. So I go on my blog, I start calling cops.
Transitive argument.
Pedophiles. They say, you can't call police officers pedophile. Well, that's what they did to me. And then they didn't know how to handle it. So at the end, they cried and cried to the city. And the city, from what I know, Brad Woodside didn't know nothing about this. And the city and council and the city manager contacted Google to have my blog shut down. But the scary thing about all this is people, never mind Charles LeBlanc, never mind the law, yeah, he's an idiot, he doesn't know what he's talking about, never mind that. If you listen to the news conference of Chris McPherson, if you Google Chris McPherson, you might be there. He says, we were waiting for legislation to pass. What? And I predicted that. I predicted that before he said that. What they're waiting is for the anti-bullying bill to pass. The anti-bullying bill has absolutely nothing to do. You think about the two women that committed suicide, it was bad. But in my opinion, it's nothing to do with the kids on the internet. It's to give the police more power. They would arrest me, the day would have passed, and then I would have been there and said, okay, Charles, I talked to the prosecutor. Here's the condition. Here we go again. Sign. Okay. Oh, one of the conditions, you have no access to the internet pending your trial. That's what it could be. But it gives more power to the police. You're drunk. You've been drunk, I think. No. Facebook. Cops arrest us. Oh, that's bullying. Next thing you know, your place is raided. Oh, no, maybe I'm just dramatizing a little bit too much. But anyway, that's about the scoop of the story. I'm sorry that I jumped at the end there, but that's the story. Thank you.
Thanks, Charles. We're going to spend the next 7 months going through a lot of the issues that you raised today: access to justice, anti-bullying, mental health issues, community policing, police force, use of force, abusive process, you name it. But it all comes back down to there's individuals involved. The system matters to individual people who get tangled up in it. And as future lawyers, you can't forget that. Everything you're going to learn the next 3 years affects people's lives.
And don't forget one more thing. If it happened to me, what other person this happened to that will never see the light of day in the media? And this is very, very scary. They just go on the fishing. They went fishing, they failed, and then they created a monster. And you know my problem is, I have way too much time on my hands.
here. He's the city councilor for Ward 8. He drove Charles here this morning, so thank you very much. He's also the director of public safety. And to brag about my husband, we just got married a few months ago, so still honeymoon. He was instrumental in getting the Bernard Richard report because nobody wanted to spend the money. The city didn't want to spend $40,000 to look into what was going on. And I think with the Bernard Richard report, and now that we've all read it, it at least hasn't solved all the problems, but it's given us something to talk about, right? And it matters in our sleepy little town of Fredericton. Okay, with that,
absolutely.
Go have a good weekend.
Can I say 2 things?
Yes.
I would have rather had the city pay for full inquiry.
Yeah.
That's millions of dollars. But it would have given Bernard the power to subpoena people or something similar to that, get them to actually testify under oath. What a powerful tool that would have been. What an expensive tool and no support from the province. So, sorry.
But it's not done yet.
It's not done yet. I'm sure it's not. But I want the city to participate in job creation, not the recreation of Socrates over and over and over again. And that's kind of what's going on here. So
justice will prevail one day.
Absolutely.
Even though if you're on social assistant or not.
Yep.